For 24 days, the whereabouts of one woman has been the focus of the nation. And those leading that search have been scrutinised like never before. An internal review of how Lancashire Police handled the last 3 weeks and on some of the key decisions taken by senior officers will begin shortly. As this investigation moves into a new phase, there are already difficult lessons that happened here, which may inform future missing persons cases. This disclosure about Ms Bulley's health in a police news conference last week has already been heavily criticised.
Based on a number of specific vulnerabilities that we were made aware of, Nicola was graded as high risk.
Today, the Home Secretary again said she was unsure that the sensitive details should have been publicised.
I did have concerns earlier in the week about some of the elements relating to the release of personal information of Nicola Bulley into the public domain. I raised those concerns with the Chief Constable. I wasn't wholly satisfied, I have to say, with some of the responses I got.
One activist for women's safety says the police were too focused on their own PR.
They paid a lot more attention to what it would do to the reputation of them than what it would do to the reputation of the victim, Nicola Bulley.
Some policing experts have also criticised the initial lack of police cordons around the key locations in the disappearance. The former Met Murder Squad detective who caught the killer of sisters Bieber Henry and Nicole Smallman says clues may have been lost.
Until you are 100% clear that you know something, there is no harm in keeping a scene cordoned for a considerable amount of time. In London, I had that scene for 3.5 weeks when Nicole Smallman and Bieber Henry were found murdered. Because you want to make sure there's nothing there, and also you don't want to make it that kind of shrine for, unpleasantness that this has become in a way.
The police theory throughout that Ms Bulley fell into the river was seemingly correct, but their strategy over the last 3 weeks will be analysed for months to come.
Well, we can go now to Julian, who's in St Michael's on wire. Julian, good to see you this evening, and I understand we are going to hear some more details from police shortly.
Hi Tessie, we'll get that news conference from Lancashire Police very shortly. Obviously, it could be confirmation of the very worst news for Nicola Bulley's family. I think if it is, we could at least assume they would have been given ample advance notice of it so they could perhaps prepare a written statement. A completely awful time for them, obviously. These formal identifications do take time. They're around 24 hours at least, so it would be consistent with the body being found yesterday. They can't just go on what the clothing on a body matching up with what someone was wearing when they were last seen. By law, they do have to do a DNA test to match it up, so that is why these things do take time. Just to say, the Prime Minister this afternoon backing this internal review that Lancashire Police have said they're going to do. All eyes on that force shortly, but clearly at the heart of all of this, a really potentially human tragedy for one family.